Good afternoon, everyone. How are we today? This is anxiety and depression coach, Bhavin Patel. And who do we have with us today? Right, let's just wait until some people join us. It's an absolutely beautiful day here in London. I thought I'll change up the topic a bit. Looks like we have someone who's joined us. It says one, so let me know if you're watching, where you're watching from, and just type in the comment section below where you're watching from, because this is going to be a discussion, a really engaging topic. Okay, so let's remind ourselves. In the last video, I talked really quickly about how to change your emotional state. And then I thought this would be a great opportunity. The video that I'm going to do next is going to be a great opportunity to try and create a discussion amongst people. And I'll tell you where the discussion sort of started. So this used to be, I used to be, well, I still am a pharmacist, and I would see people in London come in with prescriptions, right? Prescriptions for chronic physical healthcare conditions. So examples: diabetes, heart diseases, pain, chronic pain, arthritis, all types of physical conditions. And I started to look at, ask a question. And the question arose, especially when I started to sit down with these people and I would have conversations with these people. And one thing I'd find out is they never used, and with the compliance rate and how willing they were to take their medication was really low. And I started to understand that people are not, particularly in where I am in England, 50% the compliance rate of people that take their medications as the doctor tells them. If the doctor says 1-3 times a day, how likely is that person is going to take the medication 1-3 times a day? And then I started to understand that 50%, at least half of those people that are being told, oh, you've got to take your medication for diabetes or high blood pressure, you've got to take it 1-3 times a day or whatever it is. Half of those people are actually taking their medication. So I started to wonder, something's not right here. Right? I think we've got, just give me a couple of thumbs up, just, and show me some love. Just type in where you're calling from. So I started to think about how people living with chronic conditions, why is it that they don't take their medication, their medication? And it's really easy to say, oh, you should do this and you should do that. It's so simple to take a tablet once a day. But then to understand that it's not that, it really, there's something that's not right and not being looked at. So before I tell you what that one thing was, let me ask you a question. If you could ask, if you're watching now and you've got a chronic condition, you might have a chronic condition, you might know someone that has a chronic condition, they might know someone that has a chronic condition, right? Let me tell you what, just in England, 4 million people have a chronic condition and a mental health problem, a depression or anxiety. And I'm going to give you some statistics that are just going to blow your mind. When I saw these statistics, it changed. I just couldn't believe it. So, hi Rash, how you doing, mate? Great to see you. I hope you're having a great day. So, before I reveal what that one thing was, that when I started to ask the question, all these people are coming in with chronic physical healthcare problems. They might have diabetes, high blood pressure, but one thing is not being looked at. Let me ask you a question. The question is absolutely simple. Do you know someone that has a chronic condition? And if you ask anyone just try this. Go outside, ask someone, hey, do you want to have a chronic condition? I know this is a silly question, right? So let me ask you, do you want to have a chronic condition? Obviously not, right? But having said that, two or more people at any time during their lives will have some sort of long-term chronic healthcare problem, right? They're going to get diagnosed. That doesn't matter what it is. Two or more people will experience that during their lives. So understanding that 4 million people just here in England, and you can times that by 10, however many times you want, but just 4 million people in England that have chronic physical healthcare problems also have depression and anxiety. Then I started to ask myself, is that the reason why people are not taking their medication? Because one thing's not being looked at, and that is their mental health care. So that's why I thought, we need to start a discussion of how can we start improving the mental health care of people with chronic physical health care conditions. Because if you improve the mental health care of, say, for example, someone with diabetes, you might be watching, and particularly coming from a South Asian background, I know everyone's got diabetes, right? So I started to ask, if you start treating the depression and the anxiety and looking at that emotional pattern, would the blood sugar, the symptoms of the diabetes start improving? What do you think? Give me your answer, yes or no. If you treated the depression and anxiety, would the symptoms of diabetes, right? Would the progression of the disease, would it get worse or would it get better? Right? Obvious question. It's going to get better. The outcomes, so the blood glucose is going to get more stable. It's not going to start going like that. It's going to it's going to be more stable. So then I started to think about, right, what's the challenge? The challenge is this. This might sound like a strange concept. You might be watching. If you have a chronic condition, this might sound strange, but just hear me out. The challenge is, how can you live with a chronic condition and still live a healthy, fulfilling and rewarding life? Right? And we all have individual goals, but isn't one unique goal, actually amongst all of us, to do things that we want to do? Right? Do the things that we want to do, and there's one more thing, to get pleasure from the things that we want to do. Right? Isn't that all of our goals? So I started to ask started to speak with people, particularly when I was working as a pharmacist, and you've got a chronic condition, but you're saying to me that you can't leave the home, you can't leave your home, you can't go out, you can't play with your grandchildren. But what if there was a way that you could? You've got a chronic condition and live a healthy, fulfilling life, do the things that you want. And let me give you an example. This one lady, this is when I was working as a pharmacist, and started to speak with me and said, I said, what if, right, you could, what could you do? And she started saying all these things, right? Volunteering, walking to the local park, and she had severe arthritis. And just understand this, that one in 3 women with arthritis will have depression. 1 in 3 women. Yet we're not looking at the depression side of things. We're just giving medication. Let's just give more and more steroid injections or whatever right? We're not treating the mental health side of things. So she said all these things, volunteering, I want to go out and spend more time with my grandchildren. So I said, what if there's one way you can do that? Okay. If you want to know what that one way is, you might know what it is. So if you know what it is, type it in below. If you want to know what it is, give me a thumbs up. Type in yes. So, that one thing, really simple, right? How, with a bit of training and a bit of practice, can you retrain our mind to relieve some of the symptoms of our chronic condition? Okay? And get this, all chronic conditions, all of them, I don't know. People might say different things. All chronic conditions have a vicious cycle of symptoms, right? Let me explain that vicious cycle. There'll be pain involved. Pain will create what? Shortness of breath. Shortness of breath creates what? Anxiety. Anxiety creates what? Stress. Stress creates what? Depression. Depression creates what? Physical limitations, probably. Oh, I can't get out of bed and all that kind of stuff. So one symptom leads to another. So what do we need to do? We need to break that symptom. And that's what I do. Break the vicious cycle of symptoms that if you're watching this, you've got a chronic condition and you're struggling to get out of that vicious cycle. And you've got this desire inside. You've got a desire to do something meaningful. You want to spend more time with your family. You want to do the things that you want to go out in the garden. You want to be physically able. You know what I mean? So think about if there was one way, and simple, bit of training and practice of the mind to help you relieve some of those symptoms, to reduce stress, to reduce anxiety, to relieve the shortness of breath, particularly if you're asthmatic, to reduce pain, right? Because particularly if you've got diabetes, or if you know someone that has heart disease, those physical conditions increase your risk of depression by 2 to 3 times. Right? So if you're just watching this and you've been diagnosed just now, and someone told you, doctors told you, or the nurse, or the pharmacist, or whoever it is, has told you, I'm sorry, sir, you've been diagnosed with diabetes, or madam, you've been diagnosed with diabetes, right? At that point, you make a crucial decision that you're more than the condition. Write that down. I am more than the condition. I'm not a heart patient. I'm not a diabetic. I'm not a pain patient. You know, we have these labels. Words create your reality. Believe that. If you say, I am more than the condition with conviction, and say it like you mean it, right? I am more than my condition. You are more than your condition. You're not a heart patient. You're not a lung patient. You're not a pain patient. So, just to demonstrate the power of the mind to manage your symptoms, let's do this quick thing. Just do this with me, right? This is powerful. Imagine, right, do you like lemons? Let me ask you a question. Do you like the smell of lemons? I don't know anyone that doesn't like the smell of lemons, right? But if you like lemons, give me a thumbs up, right? And imagine a big, bright lemon. Hold that in your hand. Right? Close your eyes. Hold that in your hand. Put it towards your nose. Smell it. Smell the citrus aroma. Right? Then do something crazy. Bite into that lemon. What can you feel then? Bite into the lemon. What do you feel? Right? Juices trickling down the inside of your mouth and your chin. And suddenly it starts evoking these pleasures of satisfaction, right? And you're probably thinking about the time right now, the last time you had a lemon. So a memory or an image can trigger off these kinds of feelings and responses. So next time someone says, if you are about to find out, or you will be diagnosed with a condition, or you already have just now, or even if you've been on medication for 10 years, you can still say, right, I am more than the condition. This is how I'm going to look at the condition. So with a bit of training and practice, you can start just using the example of the lemon and building up that the sensations within your body. You can do the same. You can adopt relaxation techniques, right? You can learn different techniques to help manage your symptoms and create a better life for you with less pain, less anxiety, less stress. Isn't that what you want? So my final few points to ponder, right? I already said, number 1, that you're more than the condition. Number 2, you're not to blame. You are not to blame for your chronic condition. I find a lot of people, they come when I was a pharmacist, people coming in and saying, oh, I'm responsible for this, right? All they're looking at is one thing. Perhaps, they didn't eat as well as they could have. They couldn't exercise well. They could have exercised better. But there's so many reasons, right? There's environmental reasons. There's things that are out of our control, our genetics, how we're made up, that play a massive role in anyone getting a chronic condition. So don't blame yourself. You're only responsible for one thing, right? You're going to take action, and you're going to make a decision. The decision is to manage the condition. That's the decision. You're going to be a positive self-manager. That's what I call it, a positive self-manager. Number 3, you're not alone, right? There's people out there, there's support networks. You got me, right? There's people out there. I used to have a chronic sinus condition, but now it's relieved. And the pain it will create, and it affected my mood, but it's gone now. I've learned these relaxation techniques and different other tools. If you're just joining in, give me a wave, give me a thumbs up. So yeah, you're not alone. There are other people. Speak with other people with chronic conditions, a support network. Create your own group, right? And number 4, this one is going to blow your mind, and simply because you might be thinking, what? Right? Number 4 is simply seeing your chronic condition as an opportunity. Okay? Let me give you some examples about this. Simple examples. 3 different scenarios. First one, and this was actually a family member of mine, had a heart attack. Now, people tell him, oh, you've got to slow down. You've got to slow down. You've got to do this. Just take it easy. So he's like, all right, take it easy. And he thought, okay, what could I do instead? I can't do what I want to do. I can't physically move. He's a very physical person. He liked to exercise. So he decided, right, what I'm going to use this opportunity to deepen my relationships with my family and my friends. I'm going to take the time to deepen the relationships. That's what he decided. So now he's even closer with his family and friends. Another person, right, has arthritis, physically is restricted in moving around. Instead, decides, right, all right, let's explore the intellectual abilities I have. And if you're thinking, right, I don't have any intellectual abilities, that's wrong. Yes, you do. You have intellectual abilities, right? Now, the person that I knew as, again, was one of my patients. I don't like to call people, you know that word patients, just don't like it, right? Like lung patient, like labeling someone as a heart patient. So they had restricted movement. What they started to do, you know what it was? They started to write a book. But before they started that, they said, I'm too stupid to write a novel. I'm too stupid to write my own biography, right? I say, you're saying so you're too, just try it, see what happens. They've written their own biography. That's what's possible, right? They're restricted, but they thought, no, I'm going to decide, right, I'm going to do something else. And if they didn't have the chronic condition, they may not have written that book. Does that make sense? So that you see the chronic condition as an opportunity, right? So this is just the start of a series of videos where we'll explore. If you're out there, you're watching me right now, and you've got a chronic condition, anything with diabetes, high blood pressure, chronic pain, whatever it is, please know this. Right? There's people out there to support you. I'm here to support you. If there's anything that I can do to help, private message me, right? And if you want to get out of the pattern you're currently in and the condition is taking control of you, you are more than your chronic condition. I'm going to end on that. You are more than your chronic condition, right? You are not. The condition does not control you. So that is my final message. So I hope you're having an absolutely brilliant day. Enjoy the rest of your day. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for joining in, and I will see you on the next video. Much love and stay blessed. Have a great weekend. Bye bye.